welcome to the Famous Girl TV, where you will find that I'm not famous, but I talk about people who are. And today I want to talk about none other than Megan Thee Stallion and her current lawsuit against blogger Milagro Gramz. So on August 7th, there was an evidentiary hearing where Megan's side would basically present their evidence or a list of their witnesses and evidence that they plan on using for trial. So this document right here is actually the exhibit and witness list that Megan Pete's side presented to the court. And I'm going to go ahead and read what this says. So the first thing, Matthias Livachoff sworn and testified. Then it says extraction for defendant, aka Milagro Gramz. Extraction for defendant Milagro's phone on December 22nd, 2022 at 2:58 a.m. Extraction for Milagro's phone on December 22nd, 2022 at 5:33 a.m. 3 messages. Extraction for defendant Milagro's phone on 10/30/2030. That date has not happened yet. At 3:27 p.m., 4 messages. Extraction for defendant's phone on November 6, 2024 at 7:52 p.m. Screenshot from defendant's phone of deleted folder, Sunstar Peterson, who is Tory Lanez's dad. Metadata in the database from defendant's phone. Forensic analysis of iPhone by Kevin Luong. Then it says defendant's tweet dated 6/8/24, defendant's tweet dated 2/23/22. Okay, so I have a few thoughts about this, and I guess just what stands out the most to me is that this evidence that's presented here to me seems really weak. I mean, they have about 7-8 messages listed here. So they have 8 messages from her phone that they plan on using, but for whatever reason we don't know what those messages said or what they were about. And then it says there was a screenshot of a deleted folder from Sunstar Peterson. Sunstar Peterson is Tory Lanez's dad. But again, this lawsuit was specifically against Milagro for allegedly taking money from Tory Lanez to slander Megan Thee Stallion's character. So I'm trying to understand how a screenshot of a deleted folder, with messages from Sunstar Peterson, I'm trying to understand how exactly that would help Megan's case in this trial, or how exactly that would even prove anything. And then the fact that they really have a date in here that says 10/30/30, like, who is proofreading this stuff? And then they have 2 tweets, defendant's tweets dated 6/8/24 and defendant's tweet dated 2/23/22. And I'm just like, what did the tweets say? And how exactly do these tweets prove that Milagro accepted any sort of money from Tory Lanez to slander Megan? How does any of what was listed on this exhibit and witness list document, how is any of this even relevant? Can somebody answer me that, please? Moving along, they actually had another exhibit list for the hearing that took place on August 7th. And this document was added to the docket on August the 6th. I'm not sure why there is a second exhibit list, but there is. So I'm just going to go over it with you guys. So the first thing listed here says, transcript of July 21st, 2025, deposition of Milagro Cooper with exhibits. Transcript of July 25th, 2025, deposition of Caesar McDowell with exhibits. So if you don't know, Caesar McDowell is, I believe, the guy that runs Unite the People, and that is the nonprofit firm or organization that was working with Tory Lanez to help him get his freedom, basically. So the third thing here says screenshot of off the record / lips are sealed direct message from Sunstar Peterson to Miss Cooper, included in September 24th, 2020 text exchange between Miss Cooper and Emil Kittrell. Then it says screenshot of send me your number, Mill, Instagram direct message from Daystar Peterson or Tory Lanez to Miss Cooper, included in September 24th, 2020, checks exchanged between Miss Cooper and Emil Cottrell. Then it says February 23rd, 2022. It says that she said, sue me on X. Yes, this was listed as evidence, but I'm going to keep going. June 8th, 2024. It says, it was so people could see the video another X user posted. What would the lawsuit for that be? X post from Milagro Cooper. Document preservation letter received by Miss Cooper on October 29th, 2024. Then it says November 5th, 2024. Direct message from Stiletto's account to Milagro Cooper regarding legal strategy. And then on the back of the document, it says November 14th, 2024, screenshot of preservation letter received by Miss Cooper on October 29th, 2024. November 14th, 2024, screenshot of Sunstar Peterson text deletion. Then July 10th, 2025, report regarding examination of WhatsApp and text message deletions. July 9th, 2025, FTI SMS analysis spreadsheet. Same thing again. July 25th, 2025, FTI SMS analysis spreadsheet. Then it says July 31st, 2025, FTI report regarding examination of WhatsApp and text message deletions. Okay, so my thoughts on this are the same as the last document. I'm just wondering, how is any of this relevant to the case at hand? How? You're talking about text message deletions from September 24th, 2020? A text message exchange between Miss Cooper and Emil. I don't even know who this person is. But I'm just looking at this document and I'm just like, I am not seeing how any of what is listed here is supposed to prove any of the claims that Megan has made during the course of this lawsuit. Like, unless there are some bank account transactions with some money sent, direct communications, proving that Milagro was paid to slander Megan publicly. None of this, I don't understand how are they going to go to trial with this? Okay, I'm going to also point something out really quick. This is just my opinion, my intuition. This is just what my gut is telling me. This whole FTI report thing that they're talking about, where they're supposed to be going over like deleted text messages, trying to say that Millie may have deleted evidence or hid text messages. They really have the FTI report regarding deletions listed on this document as evidence. And I'm saying that, in my opinion, I feel like that's some bullshit. That's basically a distraction to take away from the fact that they know they don't have any evidence. So they want to put it on there and act like, well, we need to have these experts come talk about the deletions, so it makes it seem like Milagro did something wrong, or so that it makes it seem like she hid or got rid of evidence, when in all actuality, she didn't get rid of any evidence. The problem is that they didn't have, or they did not find the evidence that they thought they were going to find to prove their case, because they were wrong. And last but not least, I want to just go ahead and read the document titled Notice of Issues to be Discussed at Evidentiary Hearing. Now, this hearing took place on August 7th, and we still don't have the official transcripts out. So I can't speak to exactly what happened during court, but this is just basically a summary of what they planned on discussing. So I'll just go ahead and read that really quick. So they said, please take notice that a hearing on discovery matters will be held before Magistrate Judge Lisette M. Reed on August 7, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. Okay, the discovery matters to be heard include sanctions pursuant to defendant's spoliation of evidence. I hope I'm saying that word correctly. It says A, defendant's deletion of communications, including those with Stone Star Peterson, despite good faith attempts at conferral. Defendant has presented no well-reasoned explanation for the mass deletion of thousands of messages from her cell phone. B, defendant's failure to produce or turn over a single responsive WhatsApp communication or her credentials to that platform, despite being ordered to do so by the court at the discovery hearing. And then C, the entry of sanctions pursuant to federal rule of civil procedure 37, including but not limited to an adverse interference instruction and an award of attorney's fees. Then number 2, defendant's failure to respond to plaintiff's fourth set of requests for production. And then plaintiff's third set of interrogations. Then number 3, coordinating the redeposition of Thee Star Peterson pursuant to Judge Altanaga's order, and then requesting the redeposition of Caesar McDowell due to his obstructive deposition conduct, which included deliberately evading questioning, engaging in inappropriate behavior, and directing offensive comments towards examining counsel. Plaintiff seeks an order requiring that the redeposition be conducted under the supervision of a court monitor and requests attorney fees. The undersigned has conferred with counsel for Mr. McDowell, who has indicated no objection to this request to issue subpoenas beyond the fact discovery cutoff as a result of the late disclosure of witness in the FTI production and defendant's deposition. Copies of the relevant source documents will be emailed to chambers consistent with the procedures set forth in Magistrate Judge Reed's discovery procedures order. Okay, so last but not least, I want to go over what Milagro Gramz representation had to say on her behalf in court, because me personally, I felt like her lawyer totally hit the nail on the head, because he spoke directly to the issue of the deleted messages, aka spoliation. I believe that's how you say it. He spoke to that, and I just felt like he was so on point, and I kind of felt like maybe the court was a little bit gagged because what he said was so on point. But I'm just gonna go ahead and read it to you, right? His name is Mr. McClinton. He said, so I'm looking at an order from a case in this district, and the order cites case law. It says a movement must show that the spoliated evidence is crucial to the movement being able to prove its prima facie case. It is not enough that the spoliated evidence would have been relevant to a claim or a defense. So relevance is not enough. And then it cites to another case and gives a parenthetical finding that although relevant, spoliated evidence was not crucial. Another parenthetical after that, allegedly, spoliated evidence is not crucial to plaintiff's claims because it could prove its case through evidence obtained elsewhere. Generally, only outcome determinative evidence constitutes crucial evidence. And in this case, the text messages that are deleted, we don't know who sent the text messages or where they were sent from. We don't know when they were deleted. We don't know what the content of the text messages is. We don't know pretty much anything about the text messages to even make the argument that they are relevant to this case, much less crucial to the case. Opposing counsel started by mentioning that there was some case that he was a part of and that there was, I guess, one message or one email that identified some meeting or some negotiation between the parties. And in that case, obviously, it's distinguishable from this case because the central issue in that case, or I guess whatever the judge was considering, I don't know, because he didn't actually cite a case, but the issue was whether there was some negotiation or whether there was some proof of a negotiation. And there was proof of negotiation, I guess, in the form of some email that was deleted. In this case, the messages that were deleted, in order for them to be relevant, they would have to be messages or have some indication that these messages had something to do with the claims in this case. And then once we get that threshold understanding down, those messages have to have been crucial for them to prove their case. So in this situation, they haven't established any prejudice, because if those messages were about her going swimming or going to the beach or taking her kids to school, then there is no spoliation. There is no prejudice in them not having those messages. The messages that she was asked to preserve are messages, I would assume, are messages that have something to do with this case, not messages that have nothing to do with this case. And if she deleted messages that have nothing to do with this case, then those messages should not be considered in the court's determination as to whether there's a spoliation sanction to be given. Then the court says, okay, I certainly understand that the messages would need to be crucial. The problem that I see, and I can tell you preliminarily, is that without the messages, there's no way to know whether they were outcome determinative. So she seems to have put herself in a box in that situation. So what the judge here is saying is that without the messages, like, there's no way to know whether or not the evidence would have been crucial or not for spoliation. But my thing is, like, that's literally what her counsel is arguing. That's what they're saying. There's no way to prove that, you know, whether or not whatever was deleted was even relevant to the case. So my thing is, like, okay, so are you guys going to sanction her based on evidence or messages that you don't have? You have no idea what any of these messages said. You don't even know who sent what message, who received what. Like, you don't have any clue as to the context of any of these messages are. Like, you don't know anything, but you're saying that you want to sanction her. Does that make any sense to you? So after that silly contradictory comment the judge made, Milagro's counsel, Mr. McClement, came back and said, well, I guess in that situation, then every case in which there are deleted messages, because we don't know the exact nature of those messages, then in every case where there's a deleted message, even just one, there would be a spoliation. Somehow it would be subject to spoliation. It would be a per se ruling, and I don't think that's the case. Then the court says, correct. All we can look at are the circumstances surrounding it. So basically what's happening here is that you have Milagro's lawyer saying, hey, in order for it to be considered spoliation, the evidence that was erased or deleted would have to be looked at, and you would have to be able to determine whether or not that information would actually have been crucial to the outcome of the case. It has to actually be relevant, not just relevant, but crucial. It has to be crucial in order for that to be considered spoliation. So them throwing up a bunch of random deleted messages and saying, hey, look, she deleted some messages, but not providing context as to exactly what those messages said or what they were about, that ain't gonna cut it. That's not enough for it to be considered spoliation. That is what Milagro's lawyer is arguing. So it really blew me away when the judge came back and pretty much like confirmed what her lawyer said and was like, yeah, well, the problem that I see is that, you know, we don't have a way to determine like whether or not these messages are crucial. And I'm just like, that is literally what her lawyer is arguing. So it just sounds to me like the judge is still leaning toward sanctioning Millie and going more towards the plaintiff side, but it doesn't make any sense, because based on Milagro's lawyer and what he presented and how he explained the definition of spoliation, what they're trying to say Milagro did is not spoliation at all. So there should be no more talk about this deleted messages or deleted evidence. Like, they need to dead that whole conversation, because it does not fit. It does not meet the criteria at all. The judge even confirmed it. So, you know, like I said, this whole case to me just seems like a fucking waste of everyone's time. Like, the evidence list that I went over, you guys let me know in the comments if you think that Megan's case against Millie is very strong, because I'm looking at it and it shit look weak to me. It looks extremely weak. They don't seem to have any evidence or receipts about anything. I don't know how it's gonna go to trial. They're trying to demand a jury trial, but I'm like, if you bring this in front of a jury, I think the jury's gonna be confused. I think everyone's gonna be confused, because again, none of the quote unquote evidence that was presented here, none of this evidence supports any of Megan's claims. This woman is claiming that Milagro Gramz took money from Tory Lanez specifically to tarnish her image and to slander her. That is a big and bold accusation that you have absolutely no evidence or receipts for. So I don't know. I'm just trying to see how exactly is this going to go to trial. If it does go to trial, I don't know. I just don't think that this case is going to be the slam dunk that Megan thought it was going to be. I think she thought she was about to have a Cardi B, Tasha K moment, because, with the Cardi B and Tasha K situation, Tasha K was dead wrong because she actually lied on Cardi, and Cardi was able to come back with receipts and prove, hey, this person's lying. Cardi was able to prove that. And Tasha K was dead wrong. Like, she was completely wrong. In this situation, girl, Megan, you don't have nan receipt. You don't have any receipt, anything to support any of the things that you have claimed so far. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think this is gonna pan out. If it does go to trial, I don't know. It's just, I don't think it's gonna yield the results that Megan is looking for. I think they want to see Milagro like broke and destitute or something. And I just don't think it's going to work out that way. This case is not strong enough. But I don't know. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see, man. So, yeah, if you think I'm tripping, I'm crazy, I'm just making up stuff, I don't know. Let me know what you think about this situation. What do you think about the judge, what the judge had to say? What do you think about Milagro's lawyer? Because I feel like her lawyer was on point. Like, I love the way her lawyer handled that. Love it. So, I don't know. But you guys let me know in the comment section. And make sure you like the video. And I'll be back next time with some more updates. Bye.